Hikaru Nakamura cannot believe it. Not only is this one of the most bizarre and weird pieces of chess history ever made, but the ending is just ludicrous. This was a titled Tuesday game played on the 13th of May. It's an online chess tournament for the world's most elite. Hikaru's the top blitz player right now with white, by rating anyway. Magnus Carlsen's up there. His opponent with black is international master Justin Wang. He's 20 years old, and what a show they just put on. I cannot put the evaluation bar on the left or it will crash the computer here. There's way too many moves. Hikaru goes for his Nimzo Indian. Watch this absolute madness unfold. Is this going to change chess in some way? Online chess. You're going to see what I mean. So Hikaru starts gaining some space on the queen side here, pushing his juicers. There he goes. He soon sets up the old connect 4. Danny Wrench absolutely loves it. He's there running chess.com, but he's soon going to have something shown to him by Hikaru. Hikaru's going to really make him proud this game. We get the ludicrous stuff to come. First, we get lots of shuffling, very closed pawn structure. Of course, you could have taken on Croissant there, but Hikaru decides against it, takes this open A file, and it's the only one on the board. And I heard Danny Wrench say that open files are like commodities. If there's only one of them right, it becomes all the more precious, or the less there are, the more precious they become. Anyway, Hikaru covers the weak base of his chain here. Now he brings the queen around and he just keeps the rook on the board. He's just binding black like an egg now, really tied down, saving his rook, hitting the queen. Now he's in full control as he gets the full kebab going on the 7th rank, makes the invasion with the queen. The knight's about to hop, but the queen gets invading, and this is the moment. Black cracks here, just an international master, amazing title, but not quite the same as Super Grandmaster. And here it comes, a decisive blunder. Bishop d5 now punishes, because the queen's only got one square, which is here, and then knight f3 traps it. That's all she wrote. So you would think resigns, right? This must be the end of the game. All the pieces are now dropping off. It's absolutely hopeless. Even the knights drop in just a second. There they go. Bye bye. Good night, Vienna. Surely you resign. But no. I had a bit of fun here. Basically, there's a rule in chess called the 50 move rule. And as long as you move a pawn or capture a piece within the 50 moves, then you can carry on playing the game. It stops people playing a game for infinite time, right? Forever and ever and ever. So this is the thing. When you start looking at the white pawns and the black pawns, well, there's 7 captures available to white on the black pawns. You could also push a pawn before it gets captured, and then all the white pawns can advance 1 square down the board. Now I'm working out there's somewhere around maybe 40 possible captures and pawn pushes from here. Something to that effect. I wasn't doing the exact maths, Feel free to do it from here of what a game could theoretically last. But if you're allowed 50 moves per capture or per pawn push, what's 40 times 50? Like 2,000, right? I hope I haven't messed that maths up. So you could have a game that goes on for about 2,000 moves from here or something like that. I mean, nuts. And this is where we're headed, right? So as you can imagine, we're going to start rattling through. Now, Hikaru doesn't do this for the infinite game or the longest game possible. He's mopping up these pawns quick. He's like, really? Not going to resign? Really? Really? Remember, you could wait ages between, excuse me, every push here. You could wait 50 more moves before pushing. But Hikaru does get... Sorry, just died a bit there, had to clear my throat. What I was saying is that Hikaru does get pushing these pawns though, in a rapid style here, gets them going down the board, but look, this one here is a great example. So it's move 91. He now waits 50 moves before advancing another pawn. There it goes, this one here. Okay, he didn't wait 50 moves, he waited like 20. But pretty soon he starts getting a move counter going. So I am just going to literally like press the arrow key here. You can see where this is going. The entire tournament's being forced to watch this because the next round doesn't start until this game's finished, or every game is finished. As you can imagine, this is the last one going. The whole tournament's probably in stitches, except that some people will be waiting to go to bed. You know, this was the late tide to a Tuesday. We've just gone past move 500. We're approaching the 600s. I'm going to crash out any minute here. Hopefully all this stays online right. I mean, this is just insane. Reminds me of the Aman Hambleton insane checkmates with all the pieces set up in their starting positions. Finally, we start moving towards the 700s. This is absolutely nuts, but here's the big question. Has Hikaru kept count okay? I've just spoiled the game there, getting to the end too fast. King b3, let's run back one move. Well, he actually, whoops, there's an alarm going off, excuse me. I'm completely messing up this video. He actually goes wrong by accidentally forgetting the count of the moves. So in this position here, he thought that he had more moves to play with, but actually at move 761, he'd made the last pawn push. So he has to checkmate on this move here after king b3, or else he draws the game. Now he does have a checkmate here, so Justin resigned actually, finally. But if you would say check, for example, then king a4, okay, I can't move, it's crashed out. Oh, there we go, king a4 actually draws the game. The evaluation bar plummets to a half and a half, you know, 0.5, back to a draw because you've hit the 50 move rule, you've made a draw. I can't show you that right now. If I put on the analysis, it will crash out. But thankfully for Hikaru, he does have a checkmate just by pure luck. And this is his checkmate. He can bring the queen in. Whoops, not like that. You see, I'm just crashing out. You can play queen a3 basically, and it's a checkmate. We might have to abandon this video right here. Okay, like this. This is a checkmate. So this is why Justin resigned. Hikaru did have mate in one, but he was lucky. If he didn't have mate in one, he'd have messed the whole thing up. Pie on his face, and he would have made a draw of the game. That's why he should never resign. No, in seriousness, actually, it's a very interesting debate. You know, should you resign when you're losing, or is the onus on your opponent to checkmate? Different schools of thought. Honestly, I don't even really have a strong opinion on this. Yeah, I guess you should resign. It's sportsmanlike. Equally, checkmating is sportsmanlike. I don't know. I don't even know. But this could have gone on for double the moves in theory, which is a bit nuts. And they could have let the clock run down. Look at the clock times on the left. Utterly bizarre. I think the longest game in chess history, over 800 moves, 810 moves. I don't know. Absolute madness. Hope you enjoyed. Have a look at the video on screen for some proper chess, but actually insane opening. Magnus versus Hikaru. Hope you enjoy that one. Cheers.
c4, e4, d1, h5, d2, h5, d2, h5, d2, h5, d2, h5, d2, c5, h5, d5, e1, e1,